Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the League of Europe. We are here for round number 11 around the Zandvoort City Circuit in the Netherlands. My name is Jake. I'll taking you guys through this as always. Unfortunately, RJ is not here for this evening, but should be back with ourselves for next week. So hopefully we will be able to see him then and join us alongside as well. But for now, it is again just me for this evening. So yeah, I think we probably have our fair share of just solo comms around here for both myself and RJ. But yeah, I said next week we should be back to normal with the both of us together as well. But as I say, we're here for round number 11. We are now past the halfway point in the championship, and as things currently stand, I think Mr. YHYY, after taking the win last week out at Hungary, has pulled a massive championship lead ahead of Farrell and Corley Kicker, especially after Corley Kicker last week bottling it. And I'm sure he's very happy to say that he did bottle it, because putting it on pole, leading the race for the majority of the time, to then absolutely bin it, yeah, he's definitely bottled it. So he is still sitting in third in the championship, however, but yeah, YHY at the top, 40 points up ahead of Farrell in second on 90 points. Corley Kicker in third with 86 points, MCR in fourth with 81. Catching up to Corley Kicker ever so slightly as well. Conor O'Keefe dropping down into fifth with 80 points to his name. However, still an impressive feat considering that he's only 10 points behind second place and he's a bit on form at the moment, just wasn't here last week for Hungary. Jordan in sixth after picking up fifth place last week. Again, starting to be that one, starting to be similar to MCR, bit of a consistent consistency streak going on for the Scotsman. So you see if he can still play that on for this evening. Matt Tibos is in 7th with 75 points. Mr. Vata and Hapeler Boy tied in 8th and 9th with 66 points. Rex rounding out the top 10 with 60 points to his name. Cam K in 11th with 52 points. Jay Hings in 12th with 45 points. Lars in 13th with 41 points. Crack in 14th with 25 points with Ryan B in the Mercedes in 15th with 21 points. Matt's in 16th with 17 points. Harry F in 17th with 12 points. Ryan B in the Red Bull in 18th with 9 points, who isn't here this evening. He said he tried to turn up, but you couldn't get there in time. Old School in 19th with 8 points. And Scuba in 20th with 6 points. Glowstick, after making his debut last week, is sitting in 21st with 5 points. Sweet Ross in 22nd with 3 points. Stomper in 23rd with 1 point, who left the league. Yeah, he's he hasn't left the league. He is in the lobby. I don't know why I say he left the league. He picked up his first point last week. Time in the 24th with 0 points, the same in Polar Pose, and Mr. Morello, who's making his debut for this evening. So I'm intrigued to see how Mr. Morello will fare on. Hopefully he does do quite well. But it's looking like a nice dry session in qualifying so far. And Stomper, for some reason, who I thought had left the league, he is going to be the first one to complete a lap around the Zandvoort circuit for this evening. Again, quite a tight and twisty track. Very sort of, as weird as it sounds, very similar in my terms to Hungary. Again, it's a very technical track. A lot of these guys would probably be having almost the top end of the on their wings in their setup. So yeah, it's very difficult to overtake around here as well. Probably the Dutch Monaco. I think a few people would like to call it, but Stomper making his way now round turn number 4, and see he manages to get the power out very nicely done. Sorry, through turn 3. That's turn 4 and turn 5 there. And at the moment, 24.1 in the first sector. Not a bad first sector whatsoever for the Alpine. Now coming through the fast right-hander. Can be very easy to absolutely plow it on the inside of there and then go over that curb and chuck it around. But does it quite nicely. Does Stomper now coming through the long sweeping left-hander. Again, very easy to lose traction on there. But again, gets the power down nicely. DRS now wide open for the second time on this lap. 47.9 into the second sector. So it's not looking like a bad lap whatsoever for Stomper at 23.9. I think that is in the second sector then in the end. But now just one corner left to go as this one. The banking is literally just a flat out corner all the way to the end. DRS wide open for him as well. ERS on the burner is obviously running out of ERS now, but a 108.9 to kick us off in Division 3. Not a bad lap time. Jay Hings just behind him, 109.6 for Jay Hings. Farrell behind him, just starting on his lap. Oh, no, sorry, just finishing his lap at 109.2 for Farrell. Second place in the stand is Lars. Manages to get in the lobby in the end, 109.6 for him. Championship leader 109.6 for him. Rex a 109.5 for him. Timon a 109.3. So a lot of times now starting to come into or come onto the board, and at the moment Stomper quite a bit ahead of everybody else behind him. But Mr. Valter coming across the line now, 110.2 for the Dutchman. Not the lap time that we want to be seeing from him. Going to be next one across the line will be Mr. Morello, just coming around the bank end now, and this is looking like it'll be maybe a 110 for him as well. No, it's not. It's a 109.5 for Mr. Morello, and a few cars just coming around the final corner in the bank end. Mats just finishing his lap, 109.7 for Tim Mats, and I think that is MCR just starting his lap behind him. Mats just getting out of the way, but hopefully that doesn't impede MCR too much. Head Pillar Boy just starting his lap as well. Cam K is still in the pit. Sorry, that is actually just Stomper coming around the final corner now. Cordy Kicker, who has been impressive throughout, is I think actually just starting his lap on a set of the medium tyres, interestingly enough as well. Quite surprised he's opted to go for a set of the mediums, because you kind of want to keep medium tyres for the race. I suppose, you know, one lap on them may not hurt, but you want to be keeping a set of the mediums, or at least one set of mediums on. As in fact, actually, Lars didn't even realise his best time at 109.6 was on a set of the mediums himself. So at least that shows both of the Hasses could be going significantly quicker than what times that they've set at the moment. But obviously, Cordy Kicker is on a proper lap at the moment. Dips his wheel into the grass slightly on the exit of probably one of the slower right-handers on the circuit. But now DRS wide open on those medium compound tyre. What's it for sector split? It's obviously 19.8 seconds up, but 48.3. Just shy of what Stomper's time was, as MCR chucking it out on top of the 108.8 so far for the Spaniard. And I feel like Cordy Kicker might be putting himself around Matt Tibos or Timon on these medium tyres, which is impressive if he manages to get that time done. But here we go, across the line comes Cordy Kicker now, 109.4, just behind Timon and ahead of Rex. On those medium tyres, that is mightily impressive, as Hepular Boy, I think, just starting his lap now, as he just made his way around turn number 1, through turn 2 and turn 3 now as well. The banking of turn number 4. Very easy to lose it on traction through here, but keeps it done nicely so. And now just through the little S section that is completely flat out. And the downhill section now, as he comes through there, Matt Tibos, I think, has just come across the line, or someone's just come across the line and improved on their lap time. That's Jay Hings, in fact, actually, so he puts it up into 6th position. But yeah, ahead of the boy, as I say, just making his way towards the end of the second sector split. DRS is going to be wide open for him again, doesn't lose it on traction there, so keeps it nice and planted firm on the track. Sector split is a 48.1 for Hepular Boy, so this will put him around, again, what I was saying before, Matt Tibos time and sort of area, 4th or 5th for Hepular Boy if he does manage to finish the lap the way that he is going at the moment. But of course, he's not going to have that much ERS left to play with as he's going through the banking now. Yeah, no ERS really that he can, or that he's got to lead up to the line. So it's going to be a 109.1 P3 up ahead of Farrell for Hepular Boy. The Aston Martins, the first and third. Very well done to the pair of them, as Connor O'Keefe across the line is just about to go on board of him. A 109.3 for the Ferrari. And yeah, one Ferrari having a good lap time, the other one not having the best of times at the present moment. But yeah, very good times. And I mean, to start us off, MCR chucking it on pole so far. You know, again, it's where you want to be on pole, especially as considering how difficult it is to overtake around this circuit. So yeah, good time from MCR, and we'll see if anyone is able to beat that one out, especially for banker lads. Bit of a good start to this qualifying. So only 2 drivers yet to put a time on the board, and that's both Crack and Cam K. But I'm going to stick on board of Rex, because I think he might be the next one to come across the line to complete a lap. As I say that though, his red light is flashing, so I think he must have been down on his time and has backed off of that one completely. Is there anybody else on a lap? Crack and Cam K are out on laps. Crack, in fact, it just said he had a purple sector 1, so the other Williams yet to put time on the board. Mounted that outside curve, I think, a bit too much, having a bit of a slide through there as well. But the ILT driver still looking like he's going to continue on with the lap. DRS now wide open, of course, again leading them towards the end of the second sector split. So 48.4 for Crack. So put him sort of around where Rex, Cordy Kicker and Mr. Morello are if he finishes the lap, but has a bit of an oversteer moment at the exit of, well, I suppose not on the corner, but the third to last corner. Now on the banking section, Crack, as he makes his way up towards the line, it's going to be a 109.6, just below Mr. Morello and just up ahead of our championship leaders. In fact, YHYY, as I say that, is 2 and a bit tenths up on his time, as Farrell goes to the top of the timesheets at 108.7, K 109.4, YHYY 109.1, 2 thousandths up ahead of Hector Boy in the Aston Martin. So the championship leader still trying to push on as much as he possibly can, especially with his championship rivals, well, with one of his championship rivals chucking it on pole position. 108.7, as I say, for Farrell. Very good lap time from him indeed. As I think next one that might be coming across the line might be Mr. Lars Nugwat. 5 tenths up on his time, shall I say, through the second sector. Through the third sector, this might be into the 108s for Lars, and it certainly is a 108.941 for Lars. Very good lap time from him, as I think there's a Mercedes just coming into the pits as well. I think that was Mr. Morello. So Jordan's going to be our next one across the line. He's just coming around the final corner. He said he was 1,000th up on his time, and it does make an improvement. Jumps up ahead of Matt. Not too much of an improvement though, as Rex jumps up into P11 as well, jumping up ahead of Jay Hings. So qualifying session very close. First all the way down to 17th, split by under a second. Mr. Valter, of course, being a little bit of an outlier there, but he is now on his second run on the set of the soft compounder tyres. So we'll see what the Dutchman is able to do. But a few other guys just making their way around the final corner to start their laps or to complete their laps. Stomper just starting his lap. Jay Hings, I think, is just about to start his lap as well. There is a McLaren coming around the line. That is, in fact, Matt Tibos. 7 thousandths up on his time. Up towards the line comes Matt Tibos, and it's 18 thousandths down on his time. So no improvement for Matt Tibos. Timon not improving either. Jumps it into the pits as well. Corley Kicker just coming around the corner to start his lap. So it is going to be Mr. Valter who's going to be the next one to complete a lap, and he's 48 thousandths up on his time. Make that a 10.5 up on his time. But again, just goes too deep going into the or coming into that slow left-hander through there as well, where the gravel pit is. And again, he's run out of ERS. In fact, I think he's turned his ERS off, and I think he's going to make his way into the pits. From the looks of things, he certainly is. So no improvement for Mr. Valter. Jordan, no improvement for him. He's just coming into the pits as well. There is a Williams going very slow. That is Rex, who has completely run out of fuel, just getting out of the way of everybody else. I think that's Stomper, in fact, going to make his way around the banking section now. I didn't actually see if he was up on his time, but he's looking like he might be up on his time. Across the line comes Stomper, and it's a 108.72, jumping up ahead of Farrell and up onto pole so far. Again, took early pole and is now taking it on the second run. So very nicely done from Stomper to take that so far. Matt Tibos into the pits he comes after not making that improvement on his lap time. It's up to Cordy Kicker though, and he's in fact invalidated on his lap time as well. So no improvement from Cordy Kicker. Again, another driver that's been on a lot of form as of late. So Hepula Boy and Jay Hings are out on laps at this present moment. Hepula Boy 2.5 tenths up on his time. Jay Hings, in fact, I didn't realise, made an improvement up to P7. So Hepula Boy going to be the next one across the line. Again, 2.5 tenths up on his time. This will put him around MCR. Will put him up ahead of his teammate if he does complete this lap. And in fact, only just about loses out to his teammate. 7 thousandths of a second behind his teammate in the qualifying session so far. And again, probably a little bit of a disappointment for him, being only 7 thousandths behind him. But at the same time, P4 for Hepula Boy, not a bad lap time whatsoever. With just over 5 minutes left to go of the session, it is Stomper currently leading this qualifying session, with Farrell in second, and then the two Aston Martins in third and fourth. Lars ran out of top 5, and then our championship leader sitting in 6th place at the moment. Only one that's within the championship battles that's really contending YHY at the moment though is Farrell. Quite surprisingly, Connor O'Keefe down in 9th, Mr. Valter down in last at the moment, and Cordy Kicker sitting in 13th. Of course, his time being on the medium, so we haven't seen a proper time from him yet on the set of softs. But yeah, Cordy Kicker going to be a bit more under pressure, as he's only really going to have 1 or 2 more laps to do to get, well, to try and take pole position from Farrell and from Stomper. But Crack, just coming up towards the end of the second sector, just under 2 tenths of a second up on his time. Again, any temps will count at this point. He'll go up ahead of Cordy Kicker, maybe get close up ahead of his teammate. Depends how his final sector goes through here, as he's now just onto the banking section. We'll see if it is going to beat out his teammate, if it's going to beat out Cordy Kicker. From the time it was before, it was beating out Cordy Kicker, and it definitely does. He goes up into P8. Very good final sector from Crack. and jumps up ahead of Matt Tibos in the end as well. Kamke 2.5 temps up on his time as well, so this will put him around where the World Championship leader right to Y is, Jay Hings, that kind of area, if it does go his way through this final sector. Now coming around that final corner and around the banking section now, keeping it as low down as you possibly can, goes up to the high line though, and up towards the line comes Kamke. It's a 109.1 just behind Jay Hings, doesn't manage to pip them but just goes just behind them as Lars is 300ths down on his time. But again, the final sector might be where he makes that improvement. We'll have to see. Takes a bit too much on that outside curve, which I think might just slow him down ever so slightly. But he's coming around the final corner. Yeah, no improvement for Lars. He's just going to come straight into the pits. He knew he wasn't going to improve on that. So yeah, straight into the pits he comes. As Connor O'Keefe, just under a tenth and a half up on his lap time. So see what he's able to potentially do, as that is a car going slow. Not sure who that was. I think it was Mr. Morello, but Jordan 2 temps up on this time. So we'll stick on board with Jordan. We'll go back on Connor O'Keefe after Jordan's lap, because Jordan, I say 2 temps up on his time, put him up ahead of his teammate, very close to Coolie Kicker, and Coolie Kicker has just started his lap as well. So the Scotsman coming around the banking, up towards the line comes Jordan. It's a 109.5. Not pipping out his teammate, but does jump up ahead of Mats, who Mats in fact also on a lap coming out of the exit of sector 2. But Connor O'Keefe across the line up to P7 he goes with a 109.126, so very close between 6th and 9th, all separated by under a tenth of a second. In fact, if we go down or go all the way down from 7th all the way down to 17th, separated by just under half a second, as well as Matt's into the pits, not making any improvement on his lap time. Jordan, I think he just did the improvement. Coolie Kicker 6 temps up on his time. This is looking like he could be taking pole position, up ahead of Stomper. Across the line he comes at 108.686 for Coolie Kicker. Very good lap time from Coolie Kicker to chuck it up on pole so far, but that might be his last lap that he can do. Everybody else still into the pits, waiting to come out to start their laps as well. Mr. Morello, I think, is just on his final lap as well. There's a lot of other people out on out laps, so hopefully they don't really get in his way. 400s up on his time in the Mercedes. Of course, as I say, Mr. Morello's, I think this is Mr. Morello's debut for this evening, so see how he fares on as he's just making his way closer towards the end of the second sector. Just has getting out of the way, I believe, of Lars. But yeah, we'll see what Mr. Morello is able to do. It's coming up towards the end of the second sector. Just over a tenth up, or nearly just under 2 temps up on his time. So put him up ahead of Timon, but he needs to really try and earn something out in this final sector. Again, as soon as he does, any tenth of that would probably count and get himself up in towards the top 10. But around the banking he comes, Mr. Morello, on his debut, qualifying up towards the line. He comes at 109.182, joins the 109.1 gang, and up to P11. Unfortunately, the back end of the 109.1 gang, as a bit of slipstream going on between the two Hasses. Coolie Kicker giving that slipstream to Lars, so we'll see what Lars is able to do come towards the end of it. But I think the qualifying session is very nearly over, and we'll go on board with one of the Williams boys. I think that's going to be Rex coming along across the line. 2 temps down on his time originally, does end up improving in the end to P14. Farrell, I think, just gearing up to start that same with YTRY. Matt Tibos is at the exit of sector 2, so in the final sector now, and he's 3 temps up on his time, so hopefully that AlphaTauri doesn't get in his way. But Matt Tibos now coming around the final corner and onto the banking section. Again, 3 temps up on his time, puts him into the 108s. Is it going to jump him up ahead of Lars, though? Is it going to jump him in between the Aston Martins, or up ahead of the Aston Martins? Goes Matt Tibos. It's a 108.9, but it's not enough to jump in ahead of those guys, as Timon has actually binned it in the... well, completely binned it. I think, was there a Haas that was in his way? Was Coolie Kicker in his way? I'm not sure what had happened there, but Timon going completely wide out of there. And he is now out of the qualifying session, sitting down in 15th, as that is now qualifying done and dusted. Stomper did not get across the line to start his final lap, so P2 will be the best he's going to be starting. Farrell is just coming around the DRS section now, up towards the end of the second sector, and he's 10th and a half down on his lap time. So will Farrell be able to make it up in this final sector? Maybe jump up ahead of Stomper, maybe jump up ahead of our pole sitter so far of Coolie Kicker. We'll have to wait and see. Lars did come across the line to finish it in P4. MCR as well, P5 for him. Across the line comes Farrell. No improvement for him. One of the McLarens, that is YHYY 1090, did improve ever so slightly, but not a proper improvement. Mr. Valter not improving either. Hepula Boy is coming into the pit, so that's him done and dusted as well. Matt Tibos around the final corner to see if he can maybe try and do something. No, he's in fact backed off of his lap time. It's up to the Alpine of Cam K. Is he able to make an improvement on this time? He does make an improvement. Up to P7 goes Cam K, but that is all she wrote. Coolie Kicker sitting on pole position. 108.686 for Coolie Kicker. Stomper lines up alongside him in second. Farrell in third. Our championship leader sitting down in 10th position. He doesn't want to get too comfortable. I know he's got a 40-point lead, but he needs to try and keep that lead as much as possible. We'll see if he's able to try and maintain that lead, but a very good qualifying session. And I mean, the race may not be as good as that qualifying session, but yeah, this could turn out to be a very good race. I think one of the I think Division 3's last season was Zandvoort was voted as their best race, so we'll see if that's going to correlate for this evening as well. But yeah, Coolie Kicker, we'll see if he's able to maintain it this time on the track and not actually bin it into the wall, because that's what he did last week in Hungary. But yeah, Coolie Kicker, as I say, chucking it on pole position with Stomper in second. Farrell in third with Lars, lined up alongside him on the second row in fourth. MCR in fifth, Hepula Boy in sixth, and all Aston Martin third row. Cam K in seventh for Jay Hings in eighth. Matt Dibos in ninth for White Eye rounding out the top 10. Conor O'Keefe, probably a disappointing qualifying session for him down in the P11. Mr. Rolo on his debut in P12, no good going from him. In 13th and 14th are both Crack and Rex in the Williams. Timing in 15th after crashing out on that final lap. Jordan in 16th, Tim Mats in 17th, and Mr. Valter in 18th position. 1 second, or just over 1 second, separating the entire field. Very good to see, and hopefully we'll make some very, very close racing between everybody. Of course, formation lap is still going to be on, so we should be able to still have excuse me, should still be able to have some good and exciting racing. The skies are looking very grey though, so I wonder if that's going to indicate some rain on the horizon. Could be quite interesting. Let's put it in the chat if you are watching, who you think will end up being on, who will end up taking the win for this evening. Would it be Coolie Kicker? Will it be Stomper? Could it be someone else outside of the top two? As I say, this track is very difficult to overtake, so if you're going to do it, it would probably have to be straight off of the line. And here we go. So, formation lap now going on. Majority of people want to set the medium tyres. There's a few hard runners. The guys in the back five, shall I say. I'm not surprised to see them on the hards. Conor O'Keefe and Jay Hings on the hards. Cam K, the lone soft runner. I know it's quite easy to do a medium to soft around here, so I won't be surprised if the guys that run the mediums are probably splitting their strategy, because the hards can also run pretty well around here. But yeah, as I say, I know the mediums can be taken quite a distance. So if there is any rain on the horizon, then hopefully, well, the guys that run a set of the hards might have played a bit of a blinder, and same with the mediums. Cam, I'm surprised he would have gone on a set of the softs if it is going to rain. So that suggests to me that it's not going to rain, and should still be a dry session throughout the entire time. as everyone's just making their way now around the final corner so that we can get this race underway. 36 laps of racing around Zandvoort. As I say, will it be Cordy Kicker taking it at his home Grand Prix? Will it be Stomper in the Alpine to take it? Could it be Farrell or Lars to take the win? Could the two Hasses have a bit of an inter-team feud throughout the race? Again, only time will tell, as everyone is just making their way into their grid slots so we can get this one underway. Someone's sort of lining up quite significantly out on the outside. I think that is Jordan, but we are hopefully now going to be getting this one underway. A bit of a crappy camera angle, but with the 5 red lights for round number 11 of Season X of the League of Europe at Zandvoort, the lights are out and away we go, and it's a very good start from Cordy Kicker and Farrell. Not a good start for Stomper, as he might be losing out in towards turn number 1 on Farrell. He does, and he might even lose out to Lars as well going through turn 1, and I think he might have done. No, he's in fact just managing to stay up ahead just about. A few changes down in the order as well. Cam managed to get stuff up into the 6th battling, in fact, with Hepler Boy for P6, but I think the American manages to get in, get up into that spot in the end. Timon, Mr. Morello, change positions, Mr. Valor and Jordan as well. Jordan, in fact, dropping down towards the back end of the field. Not sure what happened with him, but all running in unison so far and keeping it nice and clean throughout. So very good to see from everybody there. But yeah, Jordan just dropping significantly from the rest of the guys. As Mr. Morello, I think, must have had a bit of a spin and went very wide, in fact, actually onto the onto that curb, and actually completely chucked him out as YJY and Connor O'Keefe side by side of each other, going through the long left-hander and towards the second DRS straight. But yeah, championship leader keeping that P10 for the time being, as there's a Williams and Red Bull of Rex and Timon going side by side of each other. I think Crack as well went quite deep through there, and Timon manages to get himself up into 13th position, so he gets that position back, and now trying to chase down Crack for that other position. But Matt Tiros, I thought he was trying to go for the move on Hepler Boy, but no, it's just a bit of a timing glitch. But Cordy Kicker remains in the lead of the race so far, as Timon now trying to go for the move. Oh, sorry, trying to defend from Rex. Rex has the inside, Timon on the outside. They're both side by side as they make their way through turn number 2 and turn number 3. Timon on the outside, Rex on the inside. Good battle between the pair of them. A little bit of wheel banging between the pair of them, but Timon going to hold the inside. Rex, so he's going to have the better traction on the outside of turn 4. Gets that move done. Well done, Rex. What a move that was. And up to P13, he guys. I know it's for no points, but still a very good move regardless from Rex to get himself up into 13th. The bad thing though is that it's dropped him out of the DRS detection. Luckily, there's no DRS on this lap, as Crack diving it down the inside of Connor O'Keefe in towards turn number 9, I think that is, and gets that move done on Connor O'Keefe in the end. But yeah, Connor obviously on those hards, he's going to be under pressure from those guys on the mediums. He's now down to 12th. Hasn't got any other medium runners behind him other than Mr. Morello, who's in fact actually come into the pits to chuck on the mediums. So I wonder if he picked himself up any sort of damage from that. But yeah, Connor O'Keefe now down into 12th. He hasn't got any other medium runners behind him, so all he can do is just got to try and stick with the rest of the medium runners until those tyres come to play with when those mediums do start to degrade quite significantly. It's Lars and MCR very close to one another. In fact, MCR just giving a little bit of a tap to Lars on the back through turn 1. MCR trying to hold it up the inside of Lars through turn 3, but not going to be able to get a move done. Waits for the time being for that one, and I think MCR might have actually gotten the better traction coming through there, but not able to go for any sort of move. But now we're sort of leveling out. Farrell almost losing out DRS to Cordy Kicker, as Mr. Morello actually binning it out of the final corner, and that is a full course safety car coming out. Cam's probably loving it because he can probably chuck off those softs, go on the hards to maybe, just maybe, go to the end of the race. It'd be difficult. 33 laps on the hards is tough, but could be done. And I think Cordy Kicker's probably not going to be too happy that safety car's out, because he already had that 1 second gap from Farrell behind him. So he's now got to try and do it again. But I wonder if Cam, I'm going to stick on board with Cam to see if he does come into the pits and go on the hards to the end, or if anybody else might even do it. My likely suspect would be Cam though, as I said, starting on those softs. I'd be surprised if we don't actually see him in, but again, I won't be too surprised if we don't see him in, purely because it's only done 2 laps on those softs. But let's have a look. Cam does opt to stay out, so he's not coming into the pits. Only person that is coming into the pits though, it is Crack. So Crack coming into the pits to chuck on a set of the hards. Timon is following suit as well, so I wonder, did Timon pick up any sort of damage? No, he did not. He's just chucking on the mediums. Not sure what for. Crack chucking on the hards. to potentially go to the end of the race. So Crack's going to be, I suppose, the guinea pig in all of this. And we'll see if he's able to take those hards to the end, or as much, or for as long as possible, shall I say. But yeah, other than that, very good start. I don't think anyone really sort of picked up any damage other than Mr. Morello, and he's ended up bidding it on his own, unfortunately for him. Now everyone is of course on the back of the safety car. I don't think it will be in at the end of this lap. I think it has to do at least one lap around. Sometimes I have seen occasions where it will come in at the end of this lap, but I think it would probably still have to do a full lap around before it does end up making its way in. So yeah. Let's have a look and see on the other divisions very quickly and see what Division 1's holding up for us at this present moment. Let's have a quick look. In case anybody is wondering, Nathan currently leading the race, up ahead of Justas in second and Montana in third. Let's say if anybody is interested for Division 1. As there's someone back into the pits, there's Jordan into the pits, in fact crawling into the pits. I'm not sure what that would be for. Has he picked himself up any damage? No, just a standard pit stop for Jordan, so chucking on the mediums. Bit interesting. Bit interesting. We should be getting a safety car in at the end of this lap as Jordan has managed to catch up to the back end of the queue. As I say, at the moment, Cooler Kicker is still the one that's leading the race. Is Farrell going to be able to stick to the back of Cooler Kicker when that safety car does come in at the end of this lap? Or will Cooler Kicker be able to play that mind game on Farrell, absolutely drop him, and it's up to them, Farrell, to try and pick up the pieces and try and catch back up to the back of Cooler Kicker. I mean, Cooler Kicker, as I say, in 3 laps, managed to drop Farrell out of his DRS, so I wonder if we're going to see something very similar again. Cooler Kicker, though, going quite fast, surprisingly, on his formation, on his restart. So yeah, now he's just letting that safety car go, just sort of weaving, just, as I say, playing the mind games on Farrell as much as possible. When will Cooler Kicker opt to go? I get the feeling it will be at the exit of the bank. And as I say that, though, he's now gone and has gotten that little bit of a gap to Farrell. But the one that's read it the best, it is MCR and Cam. They're all over the back of Lars, and to see if there's going to be any moves going down in towards turn 1. Cam's going to try and hold it down the inside of MCR. MCR trying to go around the outside. MCR, I don't know if he knew that Cam was on the inside of him. There's a little bit of a touch on there. White try Y also getting involved in that scrap. Matt Tibos going up the inside of Hepler Boy through turn 2. And not able to get the move done, does Matt. Has to hold on, but now Jay Hings going down the inside of Matt Tibos through turn 3 and not going to be able to get the move done on those hards. White try Y still staying up ahead of Connor O'Keefe, Crack and Mats as well. Both chopping and changing for 14th position, and Crack all over the back of Mr. Valter now to go for this move. And as I say that, time and also all over the back of Mats' Headpillar Boy. Matt Tibos once again side by side. Jay Hings now down the inside of Headpillar Boy. And Jay Hings trying to see if he can go for any sort of move. Not able to. And White Wise now going to try and go down the inside of Jay Hings for P9. And I get the feeling the Finn, the championship leader, might have just gotten this move done. Jay Hings not going to be able to hold on to that one. No, has to back off of that one. So, yeah, sticks in P10 for the time being. Connor O'Keefe having a bit of a rear lock as well. But already, Farrell has been dropped by 1 second from Cooler Kicker. So, Cooler Kicker has had the restart of dreams and got himself 1.3 seconds up ahead of Farrell. Matt Tibos now 1 second behind Cam K. Cam again, not a bad restart from him whatsoever, as that's Connor O'Keefe trying to maybe go down the inside of Jay Hings. Not going to go for that move. Timon, though, down the inside of Matt in towards turn one. A little bit of wheel banging between the pair of them. Still side by side of each other. Timon backs off. Lets Matt have that position, as that's a few changes down there. Stomper dropping down 3 positions. So, sorry, dropping down 2 positions from MCR and Lars. So, must have had a bit of a moment out of turn number 3, out of the banking of that part. So, yeah, Stomper now down into 5th position. He's got his teammate all over the back of him trying to put pressure, and that's allowed Matt Tibos to catch back up to the back of this train. So, and also put a bit of a gap between MCR and Farrell's Rex and Connor O'Keefe side by side of each other. And now Connor O'Keefe under pressure from the other Williams of Crack trying to go around the outside of Connor O'Keefe. He's going to have the inside for this chicane, but then Connor O'Keefe will have the other inside part for that other chicane. Crack down the inside. Connor O'Keefe backs off of that one, and the 2 Williams make it past the Ferrari. Ferrari's not having a good race whatsoever. But yeah, Farrell now 1.5 seconds up ahead of MCR. MCR now completely under pressure from Lars, and DRS is now going to be enabled. Won't see it until that second DRS straight, though, as Matt Tibos and Cam K side by side going down towards turn 1. Matt Tibos think is going to have the better grip on those tyres. Gets the move done up P6. Matt Cam K not able to really do anything about that. Now down into 7th position. Those softs are probably starting to go off a bit more, as I think I may have just received a little bit of a tap from Hepler Boy through turn number 3. But yeah, I think Cam K, unfortunately for him, those softs, as I say, I think are starting to die off a bit more for him, which is why he's not able to make the progress he probably could have done on those softs at the very start of this race. As I say that, yeah, he makes a bit of a mistake, goes and ends up getting overtaken by Hepler Boy. He's trying to hold it down the inside, though, coming onto the DRS straight. Of course, all of these guys will now have DRS. And yeah, Hepler Boy manages to hold on up ahead of Cam Case. So yeah, Cam now not enjoying life on the soft compounder tyre. And I think we're going to see a few moves go down very soon. I think Lars might be going for this move on MCR 4P3. Let's have a look. DRS wide open. Overtake on for Lars as well. Move done for Lars. He's Stomper going to try and follow Lars as well. Tries to go down the inside. Did back off slightly, which is very interesting. As Stomper probably could have gone for that. But yeah, backed off slightly. Matt Tibos now seeing if he can put a bit of pressure on that. As there's a Ferrari that's gone around. That is Connor O'Keefe out of turn 1. I wonder if he received a bump from someone, because that's a bit of an odd place in the middle of the corner to go from there, unless he rear locked it completely, which is, again, is entirely plausible. But yeah, very strange part from there. So I think Connor O'Keefe might have been tapped around from there. We might see after this race indeed. But yeah, again, all sort of just running in one train at the moment, other than the top 2. In fact, as I say, that Farrell is starting to gain slightly to the back of Coolie Kicker. So yeah, Coolie Kicker not in the second phase now on these medium tyres, starting to struggle a bit more in comparison to the Irishman, as Jay Hings and Crack both side by side with each other towards the end of the second DRS straight. Crack trying to hold it around the outside to have the inside of the chicane, gets that move done up to now P10. The Williams, both of the Williams making their way through the field and doing a nice job of it as well. Maybe the qualifying just wasn't what their strong suit, but they're making it work in this race. And we're going to see Stomper now go for this move on MCR down towards turn number 1. A little bit of wheel banging on the straight. Stomper goes very wide through turn 1, and that invites MCR to go straight back for the move on him as well. And now back up into P4 goes the Spaniard. Jay Hings again under pressure from Rex going through turn number 3. I think Rex again just gave him a tiny little bit of a tap through there, but yeah, Rex and Jay Hings were side by side through turn 1 and didn't manage to get the move done. So yeah, they sort of remain at the suit of where they are at this present moment. But yeah, top 4 now all separated by over a second, and MCR is really starting to struggle to keep up with those guys out in front of them. But they're all sort of relatively even gaps, as Crack now past Y. So Crack is really having fun on these hard tyres. And again, he's made a pit stop. It might be the case Crack can go to the end of the race on those hards, as Happy Boy and Matt Tibos side by side through this little chicane and the final sector. Happy Boy has a little bit of a moment coming out of there as well, so Matt Tibos does remain out in front and still remains in DRS as well. So he's not going to be, I don't think Happy Boy is going to be able to go for any sort of move on Matt Tibos, although if he uses DRS we might see a move go down. As I said, though, he's starting to gain up to him slightly, as MCR now being overtaken by Stomper. So Stomper now up into 4th. one position down from where he where he was originally off of the start. But they're all starting to come up into little groups now. So the top four, or top three, shall I say, have all completely run away from each other. Stomper is trying to chase down Lars, but he's bringing a bit of a train with him all the way down to 10th to YTRY. And then you've got a bit of separation between Rex, or between YTRY and Rex. Rex, again, holding his own little train from 11th down to 14th. Then you got Time, and then you got Mr. Valter, and then Connor O'Keefe, all close to each other as well. So I'm intrigued on what happened with Connor O'Keefe, but Stomper now putting a bit of a cork in the bottle here, and you can just see they're all so close with each other from 4th down to 7th. Again, all we're in within frame shot, and they still are within frame shot at the moment. As I think now is where we're going to start to see Stomper get a bit away from MCR. Lars is starting to catch up to the back of Farrell. Farrell losing sight more of Coolie Kicker. DRS, of course, wide open. Mr. Valter is out of the session, out of the final corner. Is that going to invoke another safety car? It's a virtual safety car. And Connor O'Keefe and Timon both take the opportunity to come into the pits. Connor O'Keefe might be able to chuck the mediums on to go at the end. Timon's going to do the exact same thing as well. And in fact, it's brought out a full course safety car. Probably not what both Connor O'Keefe and Timon would have hoped for, but a full safety car is now out. And again, Connor O'Keefe, Coolie Kicker and Farrell. Well, Coolie Kicker not going to be quite happy. Farrell maybe not so happy either, as he had a gap to the guys behind him. But Coolie Kicker definitely not. Again, he's going to have to do it once again, the second time now. Or third time of asking for Coolie Kicker to get another 1 second gap and stay up ahead of the guys behind them. But with this time, we should be seeing some pit stops go down between all of the guys out in front, especially 1st down to 8th. We might even see Crack come in and chuck on mediums to go to the end. But yeah, Connor O'Keefe and Timon both took the opportunity to pit. Again, though, I don't think they'll be able to get that advantage because of that full safety car. As into the pits does come Coolie Kicker. Lars, in fact, opts to stay out. MCR got a penalty for speeding in the pit. Interestingly enough, I don't think anybody had hit him, otherwise we would have seen some front wings getting changed. Cam K has had to double stack with his teammate. YTRY double stacking with his teammate. Everyone has practically come into the pits other than Connor O'Keefe and Timon. Now that Coolie Kicker, now that Lars is caught up to the back of the safety car, Connor O'Keefe needs to get his foot down and try and see if he can get any positions from these guys as they're coming out of the pit lane. I don't think Connor O'Keefe is going to be able to. He might be able to get 2 positions from the ones that are coming out of the pits now. And same with Timon. Is Timon going to be able to jump up ahead of 2 of them? No, jumps up ahead of 1 of Rex. Mr. Morello just leaving the session there as well. But Mats is now up to 2nd position. And Coolie Kicker in 3rd. So Lars and Mats are the only 2 that didn't pit on that lap, interestingly enough. And I don't know why Lars didn't pit, because, I mean, even double stacking with your teammate wouldn't have been a bad shout. Because now Lars is going to lose out a significant amount of positions. The same with Timmats. Timmats is going to go to the back end of the field. Maybe they are just hoping that another safety car does come out. Especially for Lars. I mean, Lars might be trying to mediate the soft strategy, which in that case... Well, no, it still messes him over because everybody else isn't going to make another pit stop other than Timmats. But MCR's penalty now is really going to screw him over because of that 5 seconds for speeding into the pits. Means that he's going to have, well, he's going to have those 5 seconds added on at the end of his race time. He's going to drop back a significant amount of positions if he doesn't make up the 5 seconds on Matt Tibos and the guys behind him by the end of this race. And we're not even halfway point at the race at the moment, and this is our 2nd safety car of the evening. If you are just tuning in to Division 3, welcome, welcome. Cordy Kicker is our net race leader. Lars and Mats are both still yet to pit. Everybody else has made their pit stops. Cordy Kicker is technically our net race leader, with Farrell as second and Stomper in third. MCR in fourth with their penalty. Matt Tibos in fifth. Crack in sixth with the medium tyres, and same with Cam Case. They're both opted to go for mediums. Again, it can get to the end, but it'll be very dead at the end. But it's possible. So maybe at the start of or on the restart, the ones to watch out for would be the guys sitting in 8th and 9th at the moment of Crack and Kanke. Again, Lars and Mats still yet to pit, so their tyres are pretty worn out. So I won't be surprised if we see moves go down between these two at the very start of the or after the safety car has made its way in. It is in this lap, so we'll see what Lars is able to do on this restart. It was his teammate that was leading us on the last restart. This time it will be Lars that goes through it, and we'll see if he's able to have a very good restart, as just keeping an eye out on all of the cars just making their way through this long left-hander. When does he opt to go? Mats has to pull in behind. Can't sit next to the car, as Lars just taking it very slowly around the penultimate corner just before the banking section. Is Lars going to do what his teammate did and go on the banking, or is he going to wait with it? Let's see when he goes. He's taking his time with it. Mats, I think, just tapping the back of Lars, and I think Lars is now gone. So Lars is now opted to go. Mats has kind of stuck with him. In fact, has actually done a very good job of sticking with him. Stomper is now trying to go for the move on Farrell in towards turn number 1. Going to try and go around the outside of the Irishman. They're both side by side of each other. Stomper's going to have the better traction on the exit of that, but Farrell will have the inside of turn 2. A bit of wheel bang between the pair of them. Stomper then gets pushed out wide. Now down the inside, or around the outside goes MCR. MCR now up into the net third position, all over the back of Farrell. Matt Divos not been overtaken by Crack and Camcare. These are the two that we needed to watch out for, but no moves going down to their avail. And somehow Mats and Lars have actually managed to get away ever so slightly more to Cordy Kicker than what I would have thought. I thought Cordy Kicker would be all over the back of them ASAP, but no, not having any moves go down to that. And so Matt Tibos now getting under pressure from Crack. I said these are the two that you need to watch out for Crack and Camke, and Crack is putting that pressure on Matt Tibos, with Matt Tibos trying to do everything in his power to stay up ahead of the two medium runners behind him. But I don't know if it's going to last for too long, as Hepula Boy now is trying to see if he can size up a move on Camke. With all of the backing up that is going on from the guys out in front of him. But yeah, Cordy Kicker, he's going to use his overtake. He wants to get this move done on Mats ASAP, and I do not blame him. And I think he's going to get this move done on Mats. Limit as much that Mats can respond with. Down the inside he goes in towards turn 1. Move done. Cordy Kicker now up into second and puts a car between himself and Farrell, which is very good for him, to say the least. Timon and Conor O'Keefe side by side of each other. Once again, Conor O'Keefe in fact on the outside now of Rex. Rex trying to go down the inside in all turn 2. The American not going to be able to go for the move. I think Conor O'Keefe has to, or manages to stay up ahead of that one, and Rex now down into 15th position. White Dry and Jay Hinks were side by side of each other, and I think Jay Hinks just given the position back to White Dry. Not sure what had happened with those two there, but yeah, Crack now, as I say, past Matt Tibos, and now trying to see if he can size up a move on Stompers. Again, Jay Hinks now getting a move done on White Dry, so White Dry must have made some sort of mistake, because Conor O'Keefe and Timon now side by side of each other. In fact, I've just seen Conor O'Keefe ghosting, so not sure what that was about, but yeah, very strange, as Rex now trying to see if he can go for a move up the inside of Conor O'Keefe, as that's now Cordy Kicker and Lars changing positions. Farrell gets the move done on Mats, and now Lars is going to play blockade between the rest of the guys behind him and his teammate, and allow Cordy Kicker to try and run away as much as possible. NCR is just practically pushing Mats through this final corner, and you can just see he is even tapping the back of the AlphaTauri. DRS is now going to be enabled. MCR going to go down the inside. They're 3 wide going down in towards turn number 1. Crack trying to go down the inside of MCR. Crack, he's been making these moves up on these medium tyres. Not able to go for the move on MCR. Mats, though, is putting up a valiant effort throughout. Everybody just overtaking him in the field, and now down into 6th position after being second on that safety car restart, as Crack now gets the better run. In fact, Farrell made a major mistake because they're all side by side of each other. MCR gets the move done. Crack gets the move done on Lars before the downer section. Yeah, Farrell must have made some sort of mistake because he's now behind Mats again. As that's Jay Hings trying to go around the outside of Hepler Boy through the long right-hander. Now through the long left-hander. He's going to have the inside line, but not going to have the better traction. Hepler Boy will have the better traction on that, but Jay Hings, DRS now wide open. Not going to be using his overtake, as there's a few more moves going up on ahead. That's Farrell and Matt side by side of each other. And we've now got another full course safety car. What's that for? Oh, Stomper binned it. Did not count that. Did not see that. Stomper has crashed it out of the bottom of the banking. Another safety car. And he's going to be kicking himself once again. Oh, I can't believe there's another safety car. But it allows Lars and it allows Mats to make their way into the pits and get on another set of tyres. But, yeah. Again, Coolie Kicker is going to be furious that there is another safety car. Because, again, he had a 2-second gap to MCR this time. And now that's just going to be absolutely null and void. Third safety car of the evening. Which is sad to see. As it looks like everyone behind Lars made their way into the pits. Lars has actually opted to go on a set of the softs to go to the end. So 18 laps on the softs is a very tricky one. I've been told 15 laps can be done. They end up at about 60 to 65%, but yeah, that's 15 laps. He's got to do 18 laps, so another extra 3 laps on those, and it's about 5% wear a lap. So yeah, Lars could be puncture territory towards the end of this race. Matt's still not in a bad position though, so maybe not pitting under that last safety car might have been a bit of a blessing in disguise for Tim Matts. Plus, everybody else behind them then also followed them in. So, yeah, Matts has made up a few positions just due to the fact that everybody else also pit behind them. But in case you are wanting to keep or wanting an update in regards to what's going on with Division 1, Mr. Sweetcrown, aka Mr. Valter, or Ariel Valter, currently leading the race. He hasn't made a pit stop yet though, and same with Vaporizer. They're both sitting in first and third. Mr. G. Russell, aka QVR Nathan, is sitting in second, and then Verstappen in fourth, and Gary in fifth, and they've made their pit stops, but they have got a Justas on fresh mediums, chasing the pair of the AlphaTauris, so they are going to be under an immense amount of pressure, especially Gary. He's not within DRS of his teammate, and Justas is all over the back of Gary, and I think we're going to see a move go down. Maybe even with Montana. Montana might also be getting a move done on him as Sweetcrown now into the pits. Yeah, I think Justas and Montana both passed Gary into turn 1. So yeah, Gary now down unfortunately to 6th, or in that 5th. We're sitting on the podium. It was nice while it lasted, and now safety car is going to be in at the end of this lap. What I'm quite surprised is that MCR actually didn't come in. Maybe chuck on a fresh set of mediums, go at the end, because then he could serve that 5-second penalty. Yeah, he would be down towards the end of the back end of the field, but at the same time, serving that 5-second penalty means that would just be completely gone by then. So yeah, quite interesting. Why I'm surprised he didn't make the way in, but we'll see how it goes. When does Coolie Kicker opt to go? Does he go on the banking like he did last time? Does he go a bit later? Does he go a bit earlier? He's looking like he's keeping nice and close with it. And yeah, he has now opted to go. The top two have read this well. And in fact, MCR has actually read it very well of when Coolie Kicker was going. And Crank, not so much. Around the outside, he might go in towards turn number 1. No, does not opt to go for it. Farrell and Matt Tibbles side by side of each other. Matt Tibbles trying to go around the outside. Now going to be put under pressure from Camk. Camk, see if he can go for a move. Matt Tibbles covers that one off time, and also alongside with Jay Hings, and gets the move done on the AlphaTauri. Lars on those softs. Now needs to try and put an absolute shift in to help out his teammate, as Farrell is already 1 second behind Crack, as Crack is just pushing MCR along out of the exit of the first sector into the start of the second sector. And I think Crack wants to get this move done on MCR ASAP, and I do not blame him whatsoever. As Jay Hings and Timon again side by side of each other, and again Jay Hings gets the move done. Lars is trying to go up the inside of Timon. Now Lars is going to be put under pressure from Mats, and Mats going around the outside of Lars and gets the move done. Lars now, unfortunately for him, down into P11 on those softs. I thought he was going to try and make up positions. Instead, he's actually lost a position at the start, so not a very good safety car restart for Lars at all. And now again needs to put an absolute shift in to try and get his way back up. But Crack now going to go down the inside of MCR, and I think this is wise from MCR. He needs to let Crack go through, needs to get Crack to stay with Baldy Kicker as much as possible if they want a chance of winning this race for this evening. Cam gets the move done on Matt Tibos in the end now as well, and Cam on those mediums. Again, it's smart for Matt Tibos to let Cam go. He needs to try and keep with the train out in front of him, because if he doesn't, they're just going to lose the RS. They're going to lose sight of the win for this evening. So yeah, Cam needs to try and do his best to get back close to the back of that train that is now being led by Baldy Kicker, as Crack managing to stick with the race leader so far. As I say that though, Cam must have had a little bit of a moment, because he's now dropped out of 1 second from Farrell. And Farrell all over the back of MCR. These two guys are on the set of the hard tyres, and Crack is all over the back of Baldy Kicker. And those mediums just look clear in comparison to those hard tyres. As we know, we'll have DRS on this lap. Crack putting that pressure on Baldy Kicker. Probably the most amount of pressure he's had all race long so far, other than his safety car restarts. But yeah, Crack is now going to be putting that pressure onto Baldy Kicker, and Baldy Kicker, we'll see how he opts to deal with that pressure, especially with the DRS now going to be enabled. Let's see if he's going to be able to stay up ahead of Crack, or if Crack's going to be able to get the jump up ahead of the Haas driver. A little bit further back, Timon and Mats very close with one another, and same with Lars. Lars still not able to make any progress on any of these guys out in front of him, and Lars, unfortunately for him, that late pit stop for him has not played in his favour. It's played well for Mats, but for Lars, it would have been better for him to just come in at the same time as his teammate and just force a double stack. It would have been unfortunate for him, but it's just what would have been better for him, as he gets the move done on Timon. Timon pushes Lars over towards the right hand side. A little bit wheel banging, but they're still both side by side of each other. Timon goes very deep through there, has a spin, taps aside of YYY, and that's Timon with more wing damage. Again, losing traction on that. Probably a bit of an unnecessary fight he was trying to put up with on the rest of the guys, but not. Has now got himself wing damage. Crack going to go maybe down the inside of Baldy Kicker in towards turn 1 for the race lead. I think Baldy Kicker's going to have the better traction on the exit of that, and he certainly does. And he's running out of ERS as well, so Crack is now going to be putting himself a bit more of a disadvantage despite having DRS. It's Conor O'Keefe and Lars side by side of each other. A little bit of lag going on with Conor O'Keefe. Luckily, it doesn't cause any contact with that as time, and that entered the pits to retire from the session. 14 drivers left remain, 13 laps left to go. And again, Crack is just putting that pressure onto Baldy Kicker, and MCR's managed to drag himself back into the DRS of those top two. And is now at the top 4, almost breaking DRS and Camk. Camk is just holding on by the skin of his teeth. But even then, it's in fact actually, I think, lost out of DRS to those guys in the top 4. He certainly has. So no DRS for Camk. And again, in this final sector, he needs to pull out an absolute blinder to get himself back in the DRS. Otherwise, Matt Tibos could be looking to put that pressure onto the American out in front of him. As yeah, Cam, no DRS. Oh no, he did just about pick up the DRS from those guys out in front of him. So yeah, he did just about enough. But here we go, the race lead. We're going to see a change for it. Baldy Kicker goes very deep through turn 1. Crack's going to try and go back down the inside and have the better traction there. Both side by side slightly, but Crack backs off, holds station for now, and sits behind the Haas driver. I think this is where we're going to start to see the degradation period go down with the medium tyres. And now Cam and Crack are probably going to start to struggle a bit more Tell you who is not struggling though is Mr. Ecos Mats. He's now up to P8, chasing down Headpiller Boy for P7, and he is doing a sublime job of it so far. Mats, again, the late pit stop for him. I was criticising him for it, but it's actually working out in his favour entirely. And we might even see Mats even go for some moves very, very soon. As Headpiller Boy all over the back of Matt Tibos. Crack losing out a bit of time to Coolie Kicker as well. Still winning the DRS, but losing out quite a significant amount of time. Mats sizing up a bit of a move on Headpiller Boy. Not going to go for anything at this moment, but maybe after the banking, we might see Mats go for something on the Aston Martin. And you can see, again, like I say, he's just sizing him up. DRS now wide open for the four of them out in front. Is Matt's going to try and go for something? I don't think we're going to see anything go down at the moment. Matt Tibos is using a bit of his DRS just to stick to the back of Cam K as Farrell gets a move done on MCR. MCR running out of ERS himself as well. Both of them very close to losing out ERS. And same with Coolie Kicker. Coolie Kicker has started to use a bit more of his ERS. As I say, the most amount of pressure that he's been applied for so far in this race. And at the moment, yeah, he's feeling that pressure. He's actually used quite a bit of his ERS, but not as much as what Crack has done. And Crack can't seem to be getting that ERS back. And it's now starting to lose sight of Coolie Kicker. Almost 1 second gap now between the top two. And as I say that, I think after this corner, we might see that 1 second gap. So yeah, that degraded tyre now for the mediums are now starting to play into the hands of the guys that are on the hards. And Cam, to be fair to him, he's still managing to keep up with MCR quite nicely, but yeah, maybe in about a lap or two we might see that start to drop off a bit more. But Mats, again, not able to go for any move on Headpiller Boy at the moment. And we'll see maybe on the banking if Mats then opts to use a bit more of his ERS, go for a move, and get that done on Headpiller Boy. Yeah, he's using that ERS now. Headpiller Boy makes a little bit of a mistake going through the banking. DRS wide open for Mats. You can see he's just so close. He's using that ERS just so he can try and maybe go for the move on Headpiller Boy in towards turn number 1. No, he's not going to go for the move. I thought we might have seen a bit of a traction exit on for Mats, but no, not much that he could do. As Jay Hings and Lars both side by side through turn 1 and turn 2. Lars swooping it around the outside of turn 2, and Lars swooping it around the outside, and Jay Hings now down to the 12th. Put under pressure from Rex, and I think, again, like I say, those mediums are really tough for him as Rex tried to hold it down the inside through the fast left and right section. Jay Hings, I don't think, saw him, and Rex, I think, was a bit too ambitious, if I'm honest with you, from the American. Again, there are plenty of places where you can overtake around on this circuit. That is not one of them, and yeah, I think that was a bit audacious from him, I've got to say, as Lars is now starting to struggle on those soft compounded tyre. And Jay Hings, that's why he's able to stick to the back of Lars despite that bit of contact that happened between Jay Hings and Rex. Only 9 laps left to go now, and MCR is really starting to struggle. Rex has got past Jay Hings now for P12, so that's that battle now done with those guys. But MCR, he can't find a way past Cam, and he's now dropping into the clutches of everybody else behind him because of that 5-second penalty. Well, I mean, the gap between them, he's going to lose out all the way. In fact, he's going to lose out into 14th. He's not going to get a point. If it stays the way that it is at the moment, Conor O'Keefe, I thought, was going to go for a move on White, try White out of the exit of the downhill section, but no, not able to do anything for the time being. Headpiller Boy pushing Matt Tibos along through the long left-hander, and same with Mats. Mats is, again, he's just holding on behind the Aston Martin at the moment. I'm surprised we're not seeing him go for a move. As Cam, I thought he managed to drag himself into DRS, but he hasn't. Luckily for him, MCR hasn't really got much ERS and is a bit away from Cam, so no DRS. Not going to see any overtakes go down. One massive DRS train, as I said, White and Conor O'Keefe were side by side of each other, but White manages to emerge out on top. Again, it's good for Farrell. You know, Farrell sitting in third at the moment gets 15 points. White sitting in ninth only gets himself 4 points. So that's, what, 11 points gap. It brings it down to 29 points. between those two. But Coolie Kick obviously getting 25, YHY only getting himself 4. There's a 21-point gap that he's bringing himself down from I think it was 46 or 44, sorry, that he is up ahead of the championship leader. So 23 points then brings him in the chance of getting, brings him back in the chance, sorry, of, maybe taking the lead of the championship if YHY has a very bad race on the next race, for example. Conor O'Keefe, once again, going to go down the inside of YHY in towards turn 1. YHY is going to try and sweep it around the outside, try and hold it around the outside on the Ferrari. Again, they've been doing this for the past 2 laps. Now, Conor O'Keefe is going to have the inside this time, manages to stick to the back of YHY, gets the move done. Now up into P9 goes the Ferrari, and Lars practically swerving out of the way to avoid those 2 out in front of him. Otherwise, it would have been an absolute calamity just going on them. But, yeah. Managed to stay up ahead of him in the end. Popular Boy looking for this move on Matt Tibos through turn number 9, but not going to be able to go for anything for the time being. As that's a spinner. That's in fact YHY had him in a spin. Popular Boy making a bit of a mistake as well out of the exit of turn number 10. And Mats is now up into 7th, but YHY, our championship leader, has dropped out of the points. He must have done something. He's hit the back of Jay Hings, and that's another spin for our championship leader. He's down now in 14th and quite a significant amount away. Farrell is going to be very happy, and same with Coolie Kicker. They're both going to be absolutely happy to see that all of that has gone down. That brings the both of them into championship, or brings the both of them into into the race of the championship lead. YHY, I think we're going to see him come into the pits, maybe go for the fastest lap or retire from the session. But yeah, very unfortunate for the championship leading Finn at the moment. I think, yeah, he's just going to come in, maybe chuck on a set of the softs and go for the fastest lap, and in fact change his front wing as well. So yeah, he's going for the fastest lap point, even though he won't get the point even because he's outside of the top 12. With Cam K, bit as I say, again, being another cork in this bottle from 4th downwards, all the way down to P11. And I think MCR is not happy at the fact that he's being this cork in a bottle, because it means that MCR gets absolutely dragged through the mud from the rest of the guys. I mean, when that 5-second penalty takes into effect, to be 11.2 behind Jordan. So he'll end up in P12. He will still get a point at the end of this if it finishes the way that it is at the moment. But he's got to hope that Jay Hings doesn't catch back up to the back of anybody else. As Matt Tibble's now going to try and go around the outside of Cam K in towards turn 1. Cam goes a bit too deep, touches the side of Matt Tibble's. Matt Tibble's is going to have the better traction on the exit of that. Both still side by side through turn number 2. Matt Tibble's having a little bit of contact with them. I think Cam got a little bit too eager with the throttle on that, and now side by side with him and Matt's a little bit of contact with them as well. That's MCR that's gone around. So MCR, even with the 5-second penalty, he's now gone around out of all of that. Again, I think he dropped it on his own, or was on the battle with Farrell. I'm not sure what happened with MCR, but he's now down into P13. And again, that's now him out of the points himself. As Rex and Rex gets past Conor O'Keefe, Lars gets past Hepular Boy. So those softs hasn't really died out for Lars as much as I thought they would have done. As Hepular Boy now starting to struggle on those hard tyres, and now 3 wide, in fact losing out 2 positions. And in fact, he's got wing damage himself on the front left. I'm not sure what happened with Hepular Boy. But yeah, wing damage for him. As now Jordan has gotten past Hepular Boy. And we're going to see, I think, maybe a move go down in towards turn 1. I think Lars might be getting closer enough to back off Mats, but no move going to be going down Hepular Boy into the pits now for a new front wing, and possibly a chucking on a set of the softs to go to the end of the race. It puts him out of the points, and MCR will possibly, should still end up with 1 point to his name, despite the 5-second time penalty. But it's all turned into absolute chaos in the last 5 laps of the race, and Matt's all over the back of Matt Tibos. running out of ERS for him though, but Matt's looking for a top 5 result this evening. And this could be a very good result for him indeed. I don't think, I'm going to have another check on the standings, but to my knowledge, I don't think Matt's has a single point yet in this season. Let me double check. Matt's, oh no, ignore me. No, sorry, he has actually got quite a few points. He's got 17 points to his name, but he's looking for his highest points result so far this season. At the moment, it was Monaco, and he was in 6th place. So that's where he's sitting at the moment in Zandvoort, and he's looking to put that pressure onto Matt Tibos for P5 this evening. Kanke still 2.5 seconds behind Farrell. Farrell 2 seconds behind Crack, and Crack 2.5 behind Cordy Kicker. So I think the top 4 will remain as they are unless there's a mistake that goes on. But Matt's now under pressure from Lars. Lars trying to go down the inside of Matt's in towards turn 1. I think Lars might have gotten it. Matt's will have the better traction on the exit of turn 1. But Lars, I think, is going to be able to squeeze his way through and gets the move done on Matt's. Matt's now down into 7th position and now going to be put under pressure from Rex behind him. But again, like I said, those softs, they're still running quite well for Lars, surprisingly enough. And we might even see Lars put a bit of a charge on Matt Tibos towards the end of this race. As yeah, Rex just, biding his time at the moment behind Tim Mats. DRS will be wide open for the American. And I don't think we're going to see a move go down at the moment. But yeah, like I say, Lars is just happy to sit behind Matt Tibos for the time being. It's up to when Matt Tibos is going to go for this move on Cam K. And I'm surprised he hasn't gotten past him yet. Maybe he's just content with sitting behind Cam for the time being. But now that he's got that soft runner behind him, I think we might see a move go down in towards turn 1. I don't think there's much that Cam can do about it. Down the inside goes Matt Tibos. Straight down and straight past Cam K. Cam not going to be able to put much up of a fight of that. And that is now 4th position for Matt Tibos. And I can try and drive away as much as possible. Lars now going to see if he can go for this move on Cam for a top 5 spot. Goes quite wide out of turn 3 though. Probably to have the better traction as MCR gets the overtake done on Jay Hings. And as I said, they're both side by side of each other as Jay Hings, didn't realise, dropped off quite significantly from the rest of the guys. But yeah, a little bit of contact between the pair of them. And MCR is still just sitting behind Jay Hings for the time being. And Heavy Boy setting the fastest lap of the race so far. And I think that's probably what it's going to sit out for the fastest lap. Unless YXY decides to pit again on this lap, but we'll see. As Cam's starting to struggle to keep up with Matt Tibos. Farrell is starting to gain onto the back of Crack so much more slightly on those hard tyres compared to the mediums. The mediums being 21 lap old now. As only 2 more laps left to go of the race. And as I say, Jay Hings and MCR are very close with each other for that final point, or for the back points positions. But it's still this battle between 4th all the way down to P9 as there you go. MCR now getting the move done on Jay Hings. Jay Hings are still trying to put up that fight through turn 1, but not much that he can do. But yeah, third all the way down to P10. As Matt's under an immense amount of pressure now from Rex. Somehow Rex has been able to manage his tyres just that bit better in comparison to the Dutchman out in front of him. And now we could see Rex go for a move on Matt. She's trying to square one up on the Dutchman in the AlphaTauri, but I think he's going to be able to be safe just for now. We're now on, of course, into the final lap of this race. And Cordy Kicker has led it from start to finish. Other than that safety car restart, as Conor O'Keefe now eyeing up a move on Rex in towards turn 1, pushes him out wide, and Conor O'Keefe into the wall, and that's Conor O'Keefe out of the race. And I'm not sure what had happened there with Conor O'Keefe, but yeah, it was very, very interesting. Rex moved over to the left. I don't think he was expecting Conor O'Keefe to be on his left. Again, I think we might see a penalty come Rex's way after this race, but yeah, from the looks of things, Conor O'Keefe couldn't really get that one slowed down properly, and it meant that Conor O'Keefe went into the wall. But we'll stick to the end of this DRS zone on this between these two, because Will can be able to get the move done on Matt Tibos for P4. Has Matt Tibos done enough to hold on? I think he has done enough to hold on, but we'll go on board with this man here. Again, 3 safety car restarts, 2 which he has led through. The other one was his teammate. He's had to hold off to him, and he's done it this time around. He comes across the line to take the win of round number 11 of Season X of the League of Europe. Crack, with his best result, finishes in P2. Congratulations to him, and Farrell will take the final podium position. Matt Tibos ends up fending off Cam K in the end, and fending off Lars as well. Cam will finish in 5th, with Lars in 6th, Matt's in 7th, Rex in 8th, Jordan in 9th, Jay Hings finishes in 10th. MCR gets P11 and picks up 2 points for himself in the end. Hepula Boy will still finish in 12th, so MCR, both of the Aston Martins will still finish with points. Probably not where they were hoping for when they qualified with each other. And YHYY takes the final position. No points for him, but that is all she wrote for this one. So, yeah, and Matt's driver of the day, I could not agree more. Could not agree more. So, Crack 13th on the grid. I said it's hard to overtake around this circuit. I think Crack completely proved me wrong. But Cordy Kicker, as I say, taking the win this evening. Crack in 2nd, with Farrell in 3rd. Matt Tibos in 4th, with Camke in 5th. Lars in 6th, Matt's in 7th, Rex in 8th, Jordan in 9th, Jay Hings round out the top 10, MCR in 11th, and Hepula Boy taking a final points position and the fastest lap. So he'll get himself 2 points. That's nice to see from Hepula Boy. YHY takes 13th. Connor O'Keefe, after that collision with Rex on the final lap, will end up finishing in 14th. And then our DNFers of Timon, of Stomper, of Mr. Vata, and Mr. Morello in the end. Very unfortunate to see. But yeah, that is all she wrote for round number 11 of Season X for the League of Europe. Next week, if I'm not mistaken, think it is a sprint race. I'll have a double check. It is. It's a sprint race around Abu Dhabi. So you do not want to be missing out on that one. Make sure you guys are tuning in next week, 6:30 p.m. BST, British Summertime, for Division 3. Of course, covered by myself and RJ. Hopefully, he should be here next week. And Division 1 covered by Oxide Nova and QVR Killer. Or NSX Ken Worthy and QVR Killer, I suppose we should say now. So again, don't want to be missing out on that. And make sure you guys are checking out the 8-10 race in approximately 20 minutes time. Division 2 and Division 4. Division 2 being covered by NSX Montana and Old School, if he is here. I'm not sure if he is or not. If not, it'll be Jess. And Division 4 covered by QVR Verstappen. Like I say, do not want to be missing out on any of the action. Championship battles, as I say, are heating up significantly now. And with just over 7 rounds left to go, don't want to be missing out on any of those. So, thanks to everybody that has tuned in tonight. And we'll catch you guys next week for round number 12 for the sprint race around Abu Dhabi.